Okay guys, take two. This is a review for CTS1390. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to configure the Iscuzzy IP address and host name and join it to the domain. I'm going to look at our map. It has an IP address of 172.16.06. I'm going to do the same to the DHCP server. The IP address is 0.4 for the DHCP. Rename, join to the domain. I'm going to go back to the Iscuzzy server, sign in as a domain admin. The reason I did this machine first, so we could share the ISO.
So you share what?
The ISO for the installation. This one, 1390. When it comes up. So guys, my script automatically adds a second hard disk. So I'm going to bring that disk online. I took a disk from the real machine and inserted it into our virtual machine.
You brought it online on the real machine?
Virtual machine.
Oh, on Iscuzzy.
Okay, it has a driver letter of D. Guys, if we look at computer management, go to shares, we can see that it automatically gets a shared drive of $. It's called administrative share. So on the DHCP server, I'm going to connect to that share as a domain admin. And copy the installation disk off the Iscuzzy onto the DHCP. Open up the File Explorer. (172.16.0.6). That was the IP of the Iscuzzy. $. Okay, I'm going to go share it manually. It worked last time. Share it as D. Let's see if this will work. No. I'm just going to share it as D. You have to at least do one share on it before you can get to it. I'm not sure why. It's probably a firewall. So I'm going to copy the server 19 disk, put it in the downloads folder. Okay, while this is copying, guys, I'm going to go ahead and do the join domain user account while we're waiting. Going to go into Tools, Active Directory Users and Computers on the DC, and create a join domain user account. This will be the user account we use to deploy images. Guys, I hit the tab key. How can I unselect that item? Spacebar. And then when I hit enter, so I can go through that whole process without ever touching my mouse to speed up the process. So once I have the user account created, I'm going to go and grant that user account full control over the computer's container. So again, in Active Directory Users and Computers, go to the computer container, delegate control. Join domain, custom task, just click next, and then do full control. The next thing I'm going to do is create a GPO to lock down that user account. Group policy management. Drill down until I get to group policy objects. and create a new one. Join domain settings, whatever you want to call it. Edit it. You want to go to computer configuration, policies, Windows settings, security settings, local policies, user right assignments. We want to give join domain unlimited ability to join computers to the account, to the domain. Then we want to deny this user account to log in locally for all machines but the WDS. Those are the only two settings we need to make. We're going to close out the policy and link it to our domain. And we also want to prevent the WDS server from reading this policy. If the WDS server reads the policy, this account won't be able to sign into that machine. So we're going to go to Delegation, Advanced, Add. The object we're looking for is a computer account. So I want to unselect everything else and type my computer name. CS01 WDS-DHCP $. Computer accounts that are joined to the domain end with $. Then we want to deny this machine from applying the policy. The user account is set up and locked down. So I'm going to go back to my WDS. I'm going to install the software. DHCP and WDS. No other changes. Out of habit, I always check this. This particular one, it doesn't need a restart, but I still check it anyways. While that's installing, I'm just going to sign into the other machines to speed up the process. I'm going to complete the DHCP configuration. Again, if I'm not signed in as a domain admin, this will fail. Now I'm going to set up my DHCP server. Do that before your WDS. I'm going to create a new scope, IPv4. Private. We're going to use the whole class file address. all the IPs for this subnet or network. Exclude the first 100 for the servers and for future growth. .1 is my router, which is on my real machine. There's my DNS and my domain name. Don't worry about the blue, just hit refresh. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is configure the WDS. Guys, it always crashes. Configure the server. Integrated in Active Directory. Share the remote install folder. It's giving you a warning saying really you shouldn't put this on the same partition as your OS, but for right now I'm doing that. Do not listen on DHCP ports because the DHCP server is on the same machine. We're going to respond to all clients, known and unknown, and require approval. Doesn't matter what we choose, it crashes. If you're really good and you can get to this quick enough, you can try to start it. It won't crash. I wasn't quick enough. Okay, so if it doesn't start, just click finish, go to all tasks and manually start it. So I'm going to fix the Pixie response because of the crash. Also 2019 has a glitch. We can't allow variable window extensions. We need it always the same size. Now I'm going to add some images to the WDS. So I'm going to go to my documents folder, mount my DVD. Just double click on it. Now go to your WDS. Add an install image. Creates a group name. It's just a folder under that remote install share. Browse to your DVD. And choose install Win. I know it's index 2. I know that's the image I want to install. Standard with graphic interface. I'm going to continue to sign into the other machines while that's being added. As if I don't change the resolution, I can't get to the start menu. I'm going to boot up my last machine too while I'm waiting. Okay, my installation image was added, so now I'm going to add the boot image. Again, same directory. Choose the boot image. And just walk through the wizard. I'm going to go to Chrome to download some answer files. When you click on it, guys, it's because it's XML, kind of makes it one big long line. Just click the down arrow, click download. Go to PowerShell scripts again. And then choose the other file. When you go this method, you can just click download right from here. Show in folder. Cut them. And put them under the remote install. Only one really needs to go there, but I'm just putting both there. Okay, so once I have my answer files saved to the local computer, I'm going to add them to my server. When I go to Properties, Client, Enable Unattended, Installation, Generation 2 Machine. Guys, this is why I need this answer file here, because I can't go any higher than the remote install folder. If someone hacks my WDS, we don't want them to be able to reach the OS, so WDS blocks them from reaching any higher than this. So that's why you have to put it in the remote install folder. In the Linux community, we call that change root, CHROOT. So I'm going to choose WinPE, click OK. That was for the first part of the installation. And for the second part, I'm going to go to the image, the install image, go to Properties, and then choose the second file. This could be stored anywhere. I think it doesn't make sense to put it anywhere else but this, since you have to use this for the first one. That was out of the box experience. Okay, the only thing we need to do now is grant our joint domain account access to that share. I just want to show you something. If I go to this right now and go to the sharing permissions, I'm just going to remove all these and add everyone. Old school permissions, I don't like using them. Give them full control. That effectively turns these permissions off. And for security, the administrators group has full control. If you don't want to make this user account and part of the administrators group, then I would add that user account here. But essentially all we really need to do is add our user to the administrator group, the local administrator group, not the domain. So right click, go to computer management, under groups, under administrators, add join domain. Okay, WDS is done. We're going to move over to the file server. We're going to add roles and features. And under roles, you want to drill down until you get to file server. If you share a folder, it automatically gets installed. Guys, because we did this a second time, I'm just going to not do Docker.
You're gonna do what?
I'm not going to do Docker. I'm not going to make it part of the test, just to speed this up. The next thing I'm going to do is join it to the domain. 0.5 is the IP. I should have done this first, but I didn't. The only thing we're going to do in the file server is storage pools. We've already installed file server. Go to File and Storage Services, then click on Storage Pools. So we're going to start on the bottom right, add a new storage pool. If I had a bunch of servers attached to this one console, I would see them here. Right now I only have the one server. Choose all the disk. Now once they're added to the storage pool, the real machine can't use those disks. I mean the virtual machine in this case can't use those disks. So once I've done that, I'm going to highlight the storage pool, create a new virtual disk using that storage pool. Virtual disk 01. Mirror. Thin so it doesn't take so long. 200 gigs. 200 gigs from the first two disks and 200 gigs from the second because of the mirror feature. If you choose mirror, it separates them so they're on different disks. As soon as this is done, it'll launch a wizard to create a partition and format it. If I wanted to, I could create 4 partitions on this disk. I'm just only going to create one. There's that partition. It's really using 400 gigs because of the mirror, so I'll have redundancy. So now we're going to the failover cluster members. First thing I'm going to do is install Hyper-V on both machines. Choose the NIC. That's the only change you want to make. Do the same thing for FOC2. I can't believe Jasmine would even suggest that I hack the survey database and give myself good reviews. That's just not right, Jasmine. Just not right. Okay, that's going to take a couple minutes to boot those machines up. So while that's going on, we're going to configure, well, nothing. We can't really do anything until that's done. Let's install the Iscuzzy software. Or did we already do that? Yeah, we already did it. So we're just waiting. Guys, I really don't want to do Touchy Eyes until I get those other computers joined to the domain, because I won't be able to create my target until they're joined to the domain. The target 01. Guys, on this machine, I forgot to click restart. So I have to manually restart it. I guess I got it on both. So I'm going to do it, restart this machine as well. Just sign into the www servers. Both FOC1 and FOC2 are up and running, so I'm going to assign the IPs 7 and 08. Don't make a mistake with the names. going to do the same thing to FOC2. I'm going to go back to FOC1, sign in as a domain admin, and install the failover clustering. If you wanted to, you could have done it at the same time as the Hyper-V, but I want to do it separately to not confuse people. Remember, it's a feature, not a role. Guys, just to save a bit of time, I'm going to install the DHCP because the role we're going to add is DHCP. I'm going to install that at the same time as the FOC. I'm going to do that same thing on FOC2. DHCP, and the failover clustering. Okay, while that's installing, I can now continue with the Iscuzzy because I have my FOCs joined to the domain. So I'm going to go to File and Storage Services, Iscuzzy, maybe not. Add roles and features. File and Storage Services. I'm going to install Iscuzzy Target Server. This is actually nice. In 2016, you didn't see this until it was installed. In 2019, it's there automatically. So if you go in here to sign install, you can, I guess you can launch it from here. That's something nice in 2019. Okay, I'm going to change the screen resolution to my last www. Okay, so now under Iscuzzy, I'm going to create a new disk. On this machine, on my physical disk, not the virtual hard disk that we're booting the VM to. We're going to call it witness. Look, guys, before I click next, I want to go here, go to the D drive, delete any disk under the I virtual disk. I want to delete those because that's from the last lab. Empty your recycle bin. A witness disk, 1 gig. Create a new target. These are the machines that will be allowed to access this disk. CS01 FOC1. Going to add the second one. CS01 FOC2. No authentication, create. I'm going to create one for DHCP. Five gigs. Create. I'm going to create the last one for clustered shared storage. Clustered shared volume. 150 gigs. Use an existing target. The Iscuzzy's done. I'm signing into both FOCs after installing the failover clustering. I'm going to go to Tools, Iscuzzy Initiator on FOC1. Have it start at boot. Put in my Iscuzzy target server. Auto configure. Now I need to format all three of those disks. One line, initialize, format. This one is witness. One line, initialize. This is DHCP. Last disk. For our clustered shared volume. Now I'm going to go add the disk to FOC2. My target server. Okay, now we're ready to validate our cluster. I'm doing it from FOC1. cluster 01. Nope. I'm entering my server name first. CS01, FOC1. CS01, FOC2. Okay, guys, I'm not pausing it. Let's take our second break. This is on. Take a minute.
It's like 9 o'clock
This is all we needed to set up for next class, right?
No,
There's more that we
because
can
like
do.
we just blows everything out and we create the virtual machine. So we just leave the way like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is all we needed to do to set up for next class.
Right.
Okay. I'm going home then. Shut up, man.
They want us to prep everything for this guy. I have to do 2 background checks, background.
Everything passed. So I'm going to create my cluster. cluster 01. We're going to give it an IP of 0.100. I'm going to unselect this, guys. I did it in a different order this time. Don't forget to unselect this so you don't have problems. I'm going to check FOC2. Okay, the disks are there. Yeah, that's good. Click finish. The cluster's here, up and running. I'm going to add my disk. I'm going to add my witness disk. Oh. More action, configure custom quorum setting. Select a quorum witness. Choose a disk. If you can't remember which one it is, expand them. I want to choose the one that is 1 gig. Look, it's in different order now for me. So you can't always go by disk 1 or 2. So I'm going to choose disk 3. Now guys, I've installed DHCP. I didn't complete the configuration or anything. I'm not really concerned to how to configure the server here. I just want to install a role on my cluster. So on both FOC1 and FOC2, I've installed the DHCP software. In reality, I would complete the configuration before I did this next step. But I already have a DHCP on my network, so I'm just using this as an example service or example role. So I'm going to add a new role. Click Next. DHCP Server. DHCP01 will be the computer account configuration, computer account name, because it will create a computer account in Active Directory for that computer. Give it the next available IP. Guys, in reality, I should have excluded that from the DHCP range, but so this is the disk I want to use, the 5 gig one. Okay. Now launch it, configure it from here. I'm not going to do that for this. So the next thing I want to do is I want to convert this available storage into a clustered shared volume. So highlight the disk. And once you do that, you will have this folder here. I'm going to go out, go back in. I want it to look like this. Go here, copy that. Now we have to go to Hyper-V settings on each of the FOCs. Paste it here. Make sure there's no slash at the end. Some of you might click on browse. If you click the browse method, it adds that slash and it will mess you up. Machines will start crashing on you. The next thing I want to do is Guys, I already have the shared made. Go to your parent disk. Grab your parent disk. And paste it in that folder. We're only using a parent disk so I don't have to have you install an OS. The OS is already pre-installed on that disk. While that's going on, I'm going to go over to FOC2. Copy this. Go into Hyper-V. Go into Hyper-V settings. And the first and second settings. Virtual hard disk and virtual machines.
One of them has to be off.
I gotta wait till this is done. That shouldn't be the case. We shouldn't have to do this. Maybe it's because we're virtualizing everything. I don't know. I'm going to boot FOC1 back up. Going to go to Tools, Failover Cluster Manager. I'm going to create a new hard disk and create a virtual machine. New hard disk. I'm just going to create it on one. It's going to be a VHDX, a differencing disk. Call it S1 for server 1. It automatically added the slash at the end. And then when it says configure disk, That's where you choose your parent disk. Don't put your parent disk in the virtual machine. Now I'm going to create a new virtual machine on FOC1. I'm going to call it S1, Gen 2, dynamic memory, connect it to that virtual network card. Guys, this network card, all the storage settings, where the virtual machines are, need to be identical on both machines. We're going to use an existing disk. Choose that S1 disk. Start it. I don't know why this DHCP server is having so much problems this semester. But in any case, failover clustering is done. Showed you one service, one virtual machine. Guys, when you're doing the test, the certification exam, and we go to file server, I don't have the file server installed here. I'm going to do that just to show you. You'll get an insane amount of questions about this on the test, on the certification exam. I'm going to go to FOC2. My machine is crawling at this point. My VM is booting. Okay, I'm just going to add a role just to show you this. If they ask you a question on the test, and that client who you're dealing with that question requires DFS, you have to choose this. If that client says, I have a Unix box in my network, choose this option, because they'll ask you, which file servers do you choose? If that client uses NFS for Unix, if it needs data duplication, file screening, you don't know what file screening is? You know how, let's say I have a corporate policy that says you can't load or save JPEGs, pictures on your computer. How can I verify you don't save pictures on your computer? Legally, I'm not allowed, let's say you have a roaming profile, you have a network share with all your personal data in it. I'm not allowed to go in your personal data and verify that. So what you can do, because it's, the Constitution gives you the right to privacy. Our corporate policy can't override the Constitution. If it's your personal space, it's your personal space. If the corporate policy says you can't save videos or images on your computer, I can't go check because it's illegal for me to check. So the best way you can do it is just prevent them from being saved. Don't write a policy, just make it so they can't save it. And you can do that with the file screening. Or if you want to use disk quotas. So if that company requires disk quotas or file screens or Unix boxes or any sort of data duplication or DFS, you have to use this. If you have a database server that keeps that file share open for long extended periods of time, you want to use this scale out file server. This is Microsoft was marketing in 2016 was their new technology. So they always put a lot of questions on it about that. Careful with this. This is a good read right here actually about these two items. So if that corporation needs any of these things, choose this. If they have a large database with constant opening stuff, choose this. Okay. Guys, last part of the test. NLB. So I'm going to open up my two web servers, join them to the domain. They get two IPs, 9 and 10 and 11 and 12. Odd numbers will be NLB, even numbers will be production. I'm going to label one NLB, hit the tab key, and call it production. When I do the second NIC, it's going to give me a warning that I have two gateways. It's perfectly normal. It's just a warning. Join it to the domain. Do the same to www2. NLB production. Again, I'm going to get a warning about the gateways. I shouldn't have done that.
Teleworker.
And it won't allow me to fix it. So I have to reboot and reboot again. Make sure you sign it as a domain. I'm going to join it to the domain and reboot. Okay. Guys, I'm just going to do the NLB part. I'm not going to leave off the web servers. We'll do that in another class too. I've already showed it to you. The NLB part is the important part. So I'm going to install NLB on both machines. I'm just running out of time. It is a feature. Network load balancing. I'm going to do that on the other machine as well. Gonna add the feature and go back to the first www. Okay, guys, do you want to start the test on Thursday or wait till Tuesday? And have Thursday as an open lab day?
Tuesday, open lab on Thursday.
Okay.
That way you could at least give us advice on what we're doing wrong.
In life or about the test?
Everything.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the first web server, launch Network Load Balance Manager, and create a new cluster. And type in the first machine in that cluster. Connect. Want to know which NIC will be part of the NLB cluster? I'm going to choose NLB. Automatically start it. The IP I'm going to use for this cluster is 172.16.100.1. Just using an IP that we haven't used before. The name eventually will be www.contoso.com multicast. Don't do anything until you see green. Just let it set. Once you see green, you're going to highlight your cluster, add a new host to the cluster. Type in the other machine. Which NIC we'll use in the NLB? Choose NLB. And just walk through the wizard. Wait till it goes green. In the lab, I had you set up a web server so you could actually test it. This is one of the scenarios is believe me, hear me now, believe me later. Trust me, it'll work. Your cluster's set up. Okay? That's it for the test, guys. I'm going to stop the video, upload it,